A shadow hangs over the Winter Games as the U.S. Olympic Committee tries to unravel how a team doctor managed to assault and abuse hundreds of young gymnasts. Dr. Larry Nasser may be the most high-profile case, but he is far from the only one using his position of power to abuse young kids. It's happening right here in Georgia. We told you earlier this week about one of those predators, former Pope High School volunteer wrestling coach Ron Gorman. He might not have ever been caught if it wasn't for one Marietta mom.
He was charged with 513 child sex crimes for only 2 victims. I say only. My research indicates that there may be several more. One of the main things that I see a lot of parents post on social media in terms of this topic is, if something was happening to my kid, I would know. And I was of that mentality too. If the predator is really good at what he does, which most of them are, you're not gonna know. Unless you take the extra steps and the extra precautions, you're not gonna know.
Well, 11 Alive's Jeremy Campbell joining us now. And Jeremy, if it weren't for that mom's dedication, this coach could still be working with children. So what were the warning signs that she saw that helped her bring all of this to light?
Well, that mom was the first to say that the warning signs, they're easier to see in hindsight. At first, a lot of the red flags could come across as just the actions of a helpful or a committed coach. That's all part of the deception. We consulted several experts to identify those warning signs that can point to abuse ahead of time. They're often subtle, like this: athletes receiving special attention or treatment, or unnecessary touching, sexual or inappropriate jokes and stories, emphasis on one-on-one practice sessions, and a focus on the athlete's physical appearance. Excessive communication is also a warning sign, as is extra body contact, tickling, massages, and gift giving. If you want to report a coach or a volunteer or just any sort of suspicious activity connected to your child, to athletics, the number's on your screen. That's 866-200-0796. And Jennifer, it's even if you just have questions, it's a good number parents can call for direction.
Definitely a good resource. So, Jeremy, what happens if a parent has listened to this and they're concerned that their child is at risk, or even worse, that they think something inappropriate is already going on?
Well, we reached out to the Center for Safe Sport with that question, and they're a new independent organization created to oversee Olympic organizations. They know what they're talking about, and they're here to help protect young athletes at every level of competition. Here's their advice.
Talk to your kids about what abuse is, what it looks like. Talk about having healthy boundaries and what would happen. All of these organizations should have policies in place, and they need to enforce them. They need to make sure that every one of their individuals, coaches, paid and unpaid, all volunteers have to have background checks. They have to be trained. As an example, that 2 adults are present at all times. That is a best practice. So I think parents need to be vocal. They need to create the demand. And if parents are creating the demand, I know that our youth sport organizations will rise to meet that demand.
One last important thing, the mom we profiled earlier, she says that the one thing she wishes that she had done earlier is trust her instincts. You can hear more about her interview and exactly what tipped her off in our full interview. It's at 11alive.com.
And that's something you hear with so many different things, that people wish they had trusted their instincts. And unfortunately, this is something that we continue to see with our children.
It is. It is in places where you presume they're safe. That's what's so hurtful about this, so shocking. But it's also empowering if you just take that step, listen to your instinct, and get help.
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much.